Greetings, friends. I just wanted to do a video about how to navigate this world of electromagnetic exposure. So, there's the current situation going on right now is, in my opinion, a result of excess electromagnetic exposure. With each rollout of mobile phone technology, there was um, large scale illness that occurred combined with other medical procedures where the skin was penetrated and in- unknown ingredients were dumped into bloodstreams. The past, I mean, decades of those two situations, along with other chemicals that have been exposed to us, like in chemtrails or in the food, in the water, radiation. Just there's so many toxic assaults that from babyhood and even in the fetus, e- like even in the womb, fetuses are exposed. Um, so it seems to me that there's so many angles we could take, but I think the current situation with the mobile phones and cell phone towers, and of course the lockdowns and the psychological abuse, the satanic ritual abuse that's been going on. I mean, they're all such huge elephants in the room. But I'm just going to focus on electromagnetics right now. So the there's herbs that are understood to be good protection from electromagnetic exposure. So it's ideally the plants are what are good. So even though we like essential oils, getting the actual leafy plant on the stem is what I'm recommending, or what I have found in my research. And again, this is just for entertainment purposes. This is just what folks in the Lyme disease community have found, because a lot of people with Lyme have electromagnetic frequency sensitivity. So a lot of people with Lyme disease have sensitivity to mobile phones, cell phone towers, smart meters. So what I have come across is the herb rosemary that you can find at the store, or it might be growing in your yard. Basil, particularly holy basil, and you can find tulsi, holy basil. Tulsi is one of the common names that you'll see in teas. So if you go to your tea section, there'll be holy basil tulsi tea. And if you go to health food stores, you'll find that as well. And regular basil, like the one that you would find in pesto, protects your telomeres, so the ends of the DNA. Ginger, there was a 2007 study showing a radio protective potential for ginger. Fennel essential oil. So this one's nice because it's an essential oil and it can reduce damage done to the reproductive system. And combined with vitamin E, it can reduce harmful effects of EMFs on the reproductive system. So, male fertility, and I mean female fertility. I mean female fertility across the board seems to have declined. And with people carrying their mobile phones in their pockets next to their nether regions, this makes sense because the electromagnetic pulses that occur like thousands of times per second, it's going to have an effect on those delicate chemicals. Delicate organs. So I have also encountered information that consuming fermented foods, so this means like if you get kimchi from the grocery store, you open the jar and it's still kind of bubbling. So you want to have a living actual ferment. So the stuff that's just in a pile of vinegar, like if you look on the ingredients and it says, cucumbers and vinegar, that's not a ferment. That's a brine, or that's not something where the fresh vegetable has been pounded and salt added, and the natural flora that's on the surface of the vegetable surface of the vegetable has altered the juices with the salts and created a biological ecosystem, because that's what a ferment is. It's an ecosystem that's been created by the uh, bacteria that's on the surface of the vegetable. So you want to get that more expensive living ferment, and not bubbies, because that again is just distilled vinegar poured onto some vegetables. You want something that has been properly traditionally fermented, and that's going to be in your refrigerated section. And I would say kimchi is the most reliable one. There's a lot of faux ferments out there that are also high priced because they're just deceptive or something. So yogurt is a ferment, and kefir is a ferment. Even salami is a ferment. So there are, miso. So that's stuff that you can find in the refrigerated section. I have also heard that melatonin supplementation can be protective. And some people have a reaction to melatonin. I know for me, I can have like nightmares. So what I do is I do what's called sleep hygiene. So towards the late afternoon, early evening, I start turning down lights. I have Flux, F.Lux. I have a screen warmer kind of a thing. Like, so it alters the color scheme on my screen, and I actually keep it kind of low. But if you reduce the blue and green light exposure that you have towards the end, like towards the later part of your afternoon, early part of your evening, if you reduce that blue and green light exposure, that will increase your melatonin production, because when at night you're exposed to blue light as if it's daylight, your circadian rhythm is triggered and your body thinks it's daylight, so it doesn't release that melatonin. So there are also some folks that are applying certain type of paints to their walls, like a lead paint. But let's say, you paint one wall, or, maybe you have a smart meter beneath your house, or beneath your apartment or something like that. You really do need to make sure that you are not actually creating uh, something that amplifies the EMFs that might be directed at you. And so I would also just make sure to have your mobile phone, your tablet, your computer, make sure they're wired, make sure the wireless is turned off. And I know that's incredibly inconvenient, but especially if you're feeling under the weather, this is a really good idea. And you can also just make sure your devices are charged and have them don't plug them into the outlet when you're using them. And if you are using them, like use a wired mouse, use a wired keyboard, and you can get wired keyboards and mice for your tablet. And I would think that you could get some sort of converter so that you can actually use a keyboard and a mouse for your phone. And it seems to me that having a large keyboard, rather than being in this posture, like this is not good for breath. This is not good for ergonomics. So, if only for your own vagus nerve and your breathing, your lung capacity, I think being on a larger system like a laptop instead of living on the phone, doing everything on the phone, I think that's just a good ergonomic decision to make. And it just keeps the electromagnetics. It reduces your exposure from touching the device directly. But back to the lead paint on the walls. So you want to kind of have an idea of what cell phones, what smart meters, what electrical utility smart meters are around. Um, that's a bit of a process to begin to figure out. And you might want to, if you can afford it, hire somebody to take a look. And you might actually also have to get a second opinion. And some folks say that using aluminum foil, the shiny side out, like if there's a smart meter, let's say, on your wall, so you can put that aluminum foil there and maybe put some wallpaper over that aluminum foil. And, but of course, if you have a smart meter right here and a mobile phone tower here, then and it's, zapping you need to be strategic, because you don't really want to stop that cell phone tower emission right by your wall if you're sitting next to it, because then you're basically in like an oven-like setup. So those are my thoughts, and I am aware of some controversy about fabrics to wear, and I had like a silver threaded cap that I used, and I didn't feel any different. And it is my understanding that it may not be the best thing to have what could be regarded as an antenna on your person, because apparently skin itself acts like an antenna for electromagnetics. So we may not really want to have like metal products on us. Like, for instance, these are metal eyeglass frames that may actually not be a good idea. It's better to probably have plastic. Like wearing metal jewelry may not be the best thing, especially like avoid wearing Fitbits, Apple phones, that Aura ring, like any kind of electromagnetic device that's like, number one, it's electrical. Number two, something that's tracking your biometrics. Like, this is not the time to get into like using devices that's tracking your biometrics. We know that 23andMe sells data to China, and they're not the only one. So that so wearing like a silver threaded or metal threaded fabric, it may not be the best idea. And I have heard that carbon fabric might be something that blocks electromagnetics. So I wonder then if taking carbons, like activated carbon or other kind of carbons, if that might actually protect the body from the electromagnetic exposure. And what electromagnetics do is not only are they harmful to our electromagnetics and hence our biology, but certain electromagnetic frequencies irritate the flora that's within us. So we have, funguses and parasites and, molds and whatever. We have all sorts of other biologicals within our body which do not like electromagnetics. And so when we experience a large zap, they get upset, like the pathogens that are within us, and we all have low grade pathogens. When we get zapped, they respond, they go into their own stress response, and their poop and pee that's it within our body is irritating to us. It's irritating to our nervous system. So it just creates this domino effect. And of course, we're the organism that has to experience this biome that we are, and EMFs make it worse. So it's good to just also, like binders can help the body eliminate toxins from pathogens, low grade pathogens within us, along with maybe being a literal physical barrier. So, and I would say, make sure you get outside, get fresh air, get some sunshine, movement, interacting with people, pleasant people. And it's my understanding also that, like, if you can handle putting your feet on the ground, I know it's winter time, so that's a little hard, but it's my understanding that when we wash our hands or take a shower, that running water is grounded. And so by virtue of water being grounded, that us touching that grounded water will ground us as well. So those are my thoughts for the moment. And if you have any other suggestions of what you know to be EMF protective, please comment below. And if you like this video or this topic, please let me know. And if you want to give this a thumbs up, please do. And feel free to subscribe. And if you feel like this is important information, please share this video. God bless.